Hi, welcome everybody for the final part of Food and Fibre Plus workshop series, which is all about getting the specifics right across Central Queensland, across our four themes of agri-tourism, circular economies, sustainable land management and water security, and finally, enhancing our supply and value chains. Today, we've had a very interactive and constructive series of workshops where people have been able to share in a number of different ways, either in the chat or using our annotating onto whiteboards, as well as in interactive workshops as well. So this last part is going to be a wrap up and some final closing remarks. And at this point, I'm just going to check in with colleagues to do the final sort of handover as to what we have covered today. So the first person who will be sharing this with us is Matt McIntyre, who is the project manager of Food and Fibre Plus from Central Highlands and Development Corporation. So Matt, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. Look, thanks very much for your attendance today. I know it's been a long day. We try to break it up by sessions, but it still makes it a long day. And thanks for those who've been right through and those who've dialed in and out during the day. There's some great food and fibre fodder for us through all the interactive stuff that Jackie's helped us with today. One of my deficiencies this morning, I forgot to thank our supporters for this project, which is Advanced Queensland from the Department of State Development, Industry, Local Government Planning, Innovation, Local Government Planning, and also the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, who have supported the team. We have a very good project management team made up of many of the industry development officers of DAF throughout the three regions, so you'll hear from them more through the coming month and a half. We have collaborators too, that a lot of the hubs and others who are part either through just being involved from the start or through our regional Central Queensland Innovation Network, which now includes members including GW3 and RAPID, so it now covers the whole Central Queensland region. Look, we've had some tech issues, and if you're one of those who've had experience, I'm very sorry about that. There's always some hiccups. There's probably we've had a lot going on. There's probably some this end that we could have done better. Some apologies too. There was an Ag Force meeting on today. I understand at short notice for some, so it took a lot of our producers who were keen to attend today away. And especially Mike Pratt wanted to express his apologies. And I know the form of those meetings involved people like Will Wilson and others as well. Carl Walker from up Bowen Way, a very key player that we had interaction with over the last week, is actually down meeting with high-level government officials over these couple of days, and that's going to be good for us because food and fibre is part of that conversation. Just want to also let you know that the interim document, the interim report, was a context-setting document that we referred out. It will be a higher resolution document will be available, if not now, on our website for those keen to go through that. We have done a lot of travel and talking over the last 5 weeks. We've been way out west as far as Winton. We've been up to Bowen Gumloo area, down to Gladstone, back through Banana, and some of the results of the new people participating today were from that. And thanks very much for attending and joining in. We have focused on local government this last round, and Chris Welch attended today and made some great input. And there's some others too that I've met with over the last week or two. We are getting a lot more people who are representative of groups, like the great Whitsunday Food Network, Grow Q out Longreach, the new group, and the Bowen Gumloo group up Mackay, Bowen Way. So that's great that we're actually getting, what we set out to do to evaluate momentum for networking, through a cluster format is just starting to, we're actually swapping notes and helping out each other now, which is good. Key message too from last event, this event, that they're not the only opportunities to contribute. So, our key meeting is coming up at the end of January, where we get into the action planning. Is the appetite there for some type of cross-regional wide network end of January? Work with your IDOs and work with us if there's other ideas too, because days like this, there's a lot of information that's come forward, but we do know we still haven't covered everything. So as I said today, there's going to be some difference of opinion, but unity through diversity. Where to now? We'll work on the information from today and other information that comes from you over the next period to finalise what will be the situation analysis. It will take the interim report into that sort of format. I think I did say to some that we would have that out before Christmas. It may well be, given the amount of information we've got from today, that'll be early in the new year. We're working toward that 2-day event at the end of January, the co-design event. It actually will be 2 half days to allow people to travel in the morning of the 27th. The first session, the afternoon of the 27th, will be to go through and to agree on or change or add to the situation analysis. It'll be a function that evening with a keynote speaker. And in the morning of the 28th, we'll be actually going through a very draft action framework where participants will have an active involvement in its finalisation as well. Look, we have also kept in mind the need to capacity build as we go through this process. So we have introduced tools, thanks to Jackie, which have been very good for us and the team, but also in both events. And Jackie's work at facilitating has been exceptional, despite some IT issues, which are probably back our way rather than the facilitation and the use of Zoom and tools. Look, I think that's all from me. I just hope that if there's any other concerns, please get hold of either myself or the other project lead, Alicia Dunbar from DAFT. And don't be afraid to get stuck into us. Lots of good information today. There's one little standout here I've got is, it's only because it's fresh in my mind. I'm over 55, so I'm allowed to forget if I don't have enough coffee. What we're all about is, getting industry to find it easy and desirable to collaborate. So I think that's industry meeting all players, I take it. So it's a great quote. Thanks very much, Dave Phelps. But I think that sums up today and where we're going. So back to you, Jack.
Great. Thank you very much, Matt. Excellent summary. And I've just got up on the screen to what is next. And as Matt had said, the next phase is going to be on the 27th and 28th of January. And we look forward to collaborating with you all on that day, or those 2 days. So in terms of a quick recap of what have we discovered over the sessions today. So we've had 4 little micro workshops, which have all been highly interactive. So the participants have been involved in whiteboards, annotating onto those whiteboards, they've been using the chat, and they've also been discussing the challenges and the opportunities in breakout groups, and then sharing back and then continuing to use the chat. So it is a great example of how across a very broad geographical region, we've been able to work together and collaborate together. And I've been really humbled by the quality of the thoughts and ideas and the knowledge base that's within this collective brains trust. So I just want to thank everybody for being so proactive and really, sharing and being so inclusive with the diversity of ideas as well has just been excellent. So it's been a real honour to be your facilitator for the day across all those workshops. So thank you very much for that opportunity and the honour to be able to do that. There are a couple of standout points that I just wanted to share. So some themes that were coming through, such as we've heard a lot about the idea of inspiring the next generation and thinking about how to include succession planning and everything that we do across those 4 themes. So that was something that really stood out. We've talked a lot about by working together, we can have more critical mass, and by working together, we can see use data and digitizing information to have greater transparency. So that's another theme that's starting to stand out. We also talked about how we need to be protecting and building up our resilience into the future. So ideas such as increasing our diversity of our international partners for exporting is going to help protect us into the future. Looking at how we can be merging and learning from our Indigenous knowledge as well and bringing that into our sustainable land management systems is something that was really exciting, and we could really feel the energy across the room, our virtual room, as we had these discussions. It was clear that overall we're going to be much better when we can work together across Central Queensland. So again, I've been really, really humbled by this opportunity to facilitate for you all. So specifically, across each theme, we looked at the key challenges. We identified what are the driving forces behind those, so what are the key problems, and then the exciting part has been exploring the collaboration opportunities. So I'm just going to give you some key highlights across each of those themes. So across agri-tourism, probably the best way to share some of these highlights has been in agri-tourism. I'm going to share the results from the poll that we did at the end. And this, hopefully it's just showing up now. This really was just a snapshot of some ideas. So it's by no means an exhaustive list. It could be much greater than that. And many, many more ideas came through in the chat. But it'll just give us an indicative sort of taste of some of the things that people were having energy for. So this idea of a digitised platform across Central Queensland had some really good energy, as did the idea of agri-food trails, whereby we could be bringing the stories to life and helping support region to region. And also greater planning support from local government to encourage to fill up that sort of pipeline of new agri-tourism products to bring those onto the marketplace was one of the key things that came up in agri-tourism. So they're just three of the ideas, and there are many more than that, and certainly in the final situation analysis report we'll be capturing all of those from this treasure trove of feedback that we've been able to gather today. So on to the next theme. The next theme was the circular economies, and one of the key points that came up from circular economies, if I bring these results up as well from circular economy, is that there is a great opportunity to be looking at the data. So to be able to collect the data of what our waste and our byproducts are, and also looking at the new regenerative systems as part of a circular economy that we can look at. By having that transparency in the data is going to help us move towards better systems into the future. Another area of that has some energy towards is educating on circular economy, and within that understanding the new business models of circular economies as well, such as sharing platforms as an example. And then we can also see that innovation in circularity is also an area, whether that's bioenergy or fibre and byproduct innovation. And there were more ideas on the chat as well. So again, this is just an indication of where the energy was today. So the next area for us that we looked at was the sustainable land management and also water security. So the key takeaways from this section, if I share the results, was that there was some real energy for having a pilot around landowners' integrated water management systems. So trying to imagine what that will look like will be something that we could be fleshing out and starting to unpack when we meet again in January. In addition to that, there was also energy for natural capital valuation systems. So to bring that to life, there were discussions around things such as how can we have real-time and better quicker evaluation of what the carbon in the soil, so that we can actually start to value our capital, our soil, our air, and our land overall. Looking at also to gather more evidence of across the regions for sustainable land management farming systems as well, to help overcome some of the fears in that space. And then the final theme that we spent some time on today was the theme of how to enhance our supply chains and value chains. And one of the key takeaways here, and you can see that there was a lot of energy for how to improve and increase value adding in the regions, was one of the areas that had a lot of energy behind it. And as did having greater data collection. This is a regular theme that comes through across all of them, so that we can actually understand and have a better insight into what the freight task is. And that leads quite nicely into being able to collaborate on business cases, whereby we can actually see what the critical mass is to be able to justify, infrastructure around an area. And also linked to that clearly is digital tracking as well across our goods, and also our freight mechanisms as well, whether it's containers and everything that accompanies that. So I'm just sharing those results so everyone can see where that looks like there. So that really does conclude our the wrap up that we have had today. And on the final part, I would like to hand over to Alicia Dunbar to do the closing remarks. And Alicia is the Senior Industry Development Officer for the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, based out of Emerald. So over to you, Alicia. And thank you everybody for having me.
Thank you, Jackie, and thanks to everyone for participating so well today. It's been absolutely amazing to see the level of engagement and the use of the interactive tools. Jackie, on behalf of the project team, thank you for facilitating us through this.
Thank you.
It's been a very big day. Thanks to all. I think we've covered off on those 4 theme areas really well. There's been so much engagement, so much great work that the project team now will start looking at through not just what's been entered into those polls, but deciphering what was through the annotations, as well as what's been captured in those chat groups. I'd like to extend an invitation to all in Sunbury who have participated today, as well as any of those that you think might be interested in attending our co-design day on the 27th and 28th in January. And as Matt said, there is a website with some of the documentation that we have developed. You'll find those links through the CHDC website, or contact Matt or myself. We're happy to assist. Thank you all, and goodbye.
Right. Okay.
So Alicia, next workshop can be face-to-face as well, or just only online?
It will be face-to-face. There are very good questions. So we talk about building the ability for collaboration, and that's through capacity building, really. So the next one is going to be face-to-face.
And in Emerald?
In Emerald, yes.
Very good. Now that's you really need a face-to-face.
Yep.
On the very deep level. Okay. Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you there.